Today we are answering the question, are the zodiac signs actually demons? As we look at the dark truth behind the zodiac, as we explore what the banned gospel of the Egyptians reveals. We're also going to see that it talks about how the earth is actually created within hell. We're going to see what that means and what that has to do with the zodiac. And not only that, but we're going to be taking a look at what the zodiac has to do with psychology by exploring the thoughts of Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, who's famous for popularizing archetypes in the realm of psychology. And you probably, if you've ever heard of the shadow self, that comes from Carl Jung. We're going to be talking about what Carl Jung says about the zodiac signs and how it relates to astrology and zodiac in general. And this is really important because this is something that I feel is a very controversial topic and something that could be potentially damaging. So we need to talk about this. We need to discuss it. It's going to be good. Now, we're going to pick up from where we left off last time. This is the second part in reading from the banned gospel of the Egyptians. If you didn't see the first part, that's okay. You don't need to understand what we're talking about today, but it would be helpful. So if you enjoy this, go watch part 1 as well. It will give you even more information relating to what we're talking about today. So again, this is the banned gospel of the Egyptians. In the first video that we talked about regarding this, or the first talk regarding this, we were exploring the root of all reality, the root of all existence, and how existence is just one singular mind. And this one singular mind is a mind of light. And this mind of light begins to structure itself. And we talked about this. Now, this is going to be really important for what we're going to be discussing about the zodiac and if they are indeed demons and what the dark truth is behind the zodiac, because this has to do with the mind, with the structuring of the mind. Because the zodiac in astrology is supposed to be influential on who you are, your personality, which deals with your mind. So this structuring of the mind is really important. So in the first talk, we discussed how this divine mind, before there's any matter, any space, or any time, or anything like that, it begins structuring itself. And we saw that it structured itself into 3 ideas, which was the Father, the Mother, and the Son. And remember, these are symbolic for representing conceptual structures. So the Father represents mind. The Mother represents thought. And then the Son represents self-thinking thought. Why? Well, because when the mother and the father interact, when mind interacts with thought, you have thought thinking about itself, which is the Son, which is self-thinking thought. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this is going to be very important when we talk about the zodiac and the structure of the mind, because you can see how we're using symbols to represent a mind that is structuring itself. You have this divine mind, which is all reality. It's a mental reality, a mind of pure light that structures itself into thought and then self-reflective thought. Now, there's a large portion that we have skipped. And the reason why that I have skipped it is because there's a lot of pages missing. This was a banned gospel. It was found near the tombs of ancient Egypt, buried in a jar. It was discovered in the 1940s, and there's a bunch of pages missing. So there's a lot missing from it. And there's really nothing too important. It just keeps continuing about continues discussing how this mind is structuring itself. And it talks about the structure in terms of various angels or eons. And each one of these angels or eons represents a different aspect of the mind, just like how you had the Father that represents mind, and the Mother represents thought, and then the Son represents self-thinking thought. You have all these different angels and whatever representing different aspects of the mind. Okay, so it's important to see what the gospel of the Egyptians is doing is describing how a divine mind is structuring itself, and it's using symbolic language, angels, eons, Mother, Father, Son, etc., to represent aspects of the mind. Okay, so that's really important. So now we're going to start diving into this. So it says, after 5,000 years, the great light Elalith spoke. So we're talking about the great light Elalith. Now remember, this is a divine mind that is a mind of pure light that is structuring itself. And one of its structures, a great light, is called Elalith. Now, who is Elalith? Elalith represents perfection, peace, and wisdom. And it's often associated with the divine feminine. So remember, these are symbols, archetypal symbols, metaphors for different aspects of the mind. Just like the mother represents thought, the sun represents self-reflective thought. A Lilith represents the aspects of perfection, peace, and wisdom, and is often associated with the divine feminine. Okay? So, by the way, in another banned gospel, a Lilith is represented as understanding, but I don't think we'll really get into that. Maybe we will. But so a Lilith, which is an aspect of the divine mind, representing perfection, peace, and wisdom. Just a moment, I need to bring this back up. Says, let someone reign over the chaos and Hades. Now, this is really important, okay? So up until this point, you've had this realm of divine light, which is a mind that is structuring itself. Then one of the elements of this divine mind says, let someone reign over the chaos and Hades. Well, what is chaos and what is Hades? Because remember, this is all symbolic. Well, if you have a realm of divine light, what is Hades? The realm of darkness. Well, what is the realm of darkness if this is a structure that's developing itself? This is going to represent the unconscious. This is key. Right now, we have a realm of light that has been structuring itself, representing pure light, pure mind, consciousness, order. But now, a Lilith says we need someone to reign over the chaos and the Hades, the unconscious, the dark, the unexplored, the disordered. And there appeared a cloud whose name is Heilig Sophia. She looked out on the parts of the chaos, and her face became like blank in her form, blank blood. And we don't know what was said there because words and pieces are missing, because this is a banned document that there's pieces missing through it. It's been through a lot. So the great angel Gamaliel, remember all these angels, they represent aspects of the divine mind. So you have a Lilith, you have Sophia, you have this angel called Gamaliel. These are aspects of the divine mind. Spoke to the great Gabriel, the minister of the great light, Auroriel. He said, let an angel come forth in order that he may reign over the chaos and Hades. So you see that you have all these different angels or aspects of the mind that are associated with different things. Like a Lilith associated with wisdom, peace, and perfection. And Sophia is really an aspect of, so if we really want, because we talked about Sophia, we really looked at as a Lilith sort of being kind of like in charge of Sophia. So you could think of Sophia as sort of the wisdom aspect of a Lilith. So you have a Lilith, and Sophia is specifically the aspect of wisdom of a Lilith. It's really important to understand that this is Gnosticism, right? So in Gnosticism, in these banned gospels, this is all very symbolic. So these are more like categories. This is like philosophy that is being interpreted through Christian symbology with like angels and demons, etc. So the different angels, or the different aspects of mind, are saying we need basically like a ruler over chaos and Hades, or a ruler over the unconscious. And he said, let an angel come forth in order that he may reign over the chaos and Hades. Hey, Google, be quiet. I don't know why, but suddenly my Google Assistant decided to interject her opinion on the subject, and that was very rude. I don't know why. Anyway, they said, let an angel come forth in order that he may reign over the chaos and Hades. Then the cloud, being agreeable, came forth in the two monads. Each one of us had light, which he had placed in the cloud above. So essentially what's happening is that they agreed to this, and then from Sophia came two monads, which are basically like two souls. Came forth two souls. And these two souls were the entities Sakla and Nibruel. It says, then Sakla, the great angel, saw the great demon who was with him, Nibruel. So this is they said we need someone to rule over the chaos and the Hades, and coming from forth to rule is the great angel Sakla and the great angel Nibruel. And Sakla means fool, and Nibruel likely comes from Nibro, which means rebel. So do you see how you're having these aspects of the mind that are associated with very angelic type of things, or very, things like perfection and wisdom, and understanding, conceptualization, etc. But now, to rule over Hades or the unconscious comes forth Sakla and Nibruel, or fool and rebel. And you're seeing now a darker side of mind, being the vast ocean of the unconscious, that which is very rebellious. The unconscious is rebellious against us often. The unconscious is often, this is why Carl Jung is all about making the unconscious conscious, so you can be in control of yourself, so that your own mind isn't rebelling against yourself and making you do foolish things. So real quick, just for those who don't know, in Gnosticism, you have the creator, the Demiurgos, who's known as Yaldabaoth. And these two entities, Sakla and Nibro, they're basically Yaldabaoth, but they're acting as sort of twin counterparts to each other. So these two beings are sort of counterparts for the ruler of Hades, which will be the unconscious. So Sakla, the great angel, saw the great demon who was with him, Nibruel, and they became together a begetting spirit of the earth. In other words, from them, they created earth. So they created earth within their realm of Hades. Now, why is earth created in the realm of Hades? Because humans are generally very unconscious creatures. They're not conscious of who they are, what they are, where they are. They're not conscious of the true realm of mind. They're caught in a web of delusions and illusions, thinking that the material world is real. So thinking that the material world is real is being like still caught in a very unconscious sleeping net. And so Sakla and Nibru, the rebel and the fool, are creating the earth within this ignorant realm, this realm of ignorance, the unconscious. And this is all going to tie into the Zodiac. Okay, this is important, and it's about to happen. So it says they begot assisting angels. So from themselves, they produced earth, and then from themselves, they produced angels to assist. So Sakla said to the great demon Nibruel, let the 12 eons come in to being. And this is where we have, okay, so Sakla and Nibruel bring 12 eons into being. Now, why do they bring 12? Because these 12 eons, or these 12 archons, or these 12 demons are going to be associated, or are associated, with the 12 signs of the Zodiac. And these 12 signs of the Zodiac are going to, and these 12 archons are unconscious forces. And I'm going to explain what exactly this means in a minute, but we just need an overview. Okay? So it says, let the 12 eons come into being. Then the great angel Sakla said, by the will of the Autogenes, the will of the one, the divine mind, there shall be of the number 7. So they created 12 and created 7. 12 associated with the 12 signs of the zodiac, and 7 associated with 5 of the planets, the 5 of the then known planets. So you have a total of 7 for 5 planets and the moon and the sun, and then 12 associated with the zodiac. And he said to these angels, "Go and let each of you reign over his world." Each of these 12 angels went forth. The first angel is Athoth. The second is Harmas, who is the eye of fire. The third is Galileo. The fourth is Yobel. The fifth is Adenios, who is called Sabaoth. The sixth is Cain, who the great generations of men call the sun. The seventh is Abel. The eighth, Akrasina. The ninth, Jubel. The 10th is Harumpiel. The 11th is Arkir Adonin. The 12th is Belias. These are the ones who preside over Hades and chaos. All right, so here's what we need to understand about all this. You have, because we need to look at this, and now we're going to look at what Carl Jung says about this. So you have this big picture of a divine mind that's structuring itself in the realm of light or within consciousness, and then the realm of darkness or Hades, which is the unconscious, and who rules over the darkness or the unconscious is the rebellious, is the foolish. And from them, they generate 12 rulers and 7 rulers, and 12 of those rulers being associated with the 12 signs of the zodiac. Okay, why? This is because these 12 signs of the zodiac are archetypal representations of unconscious directing forces. Now, what this means is that there's a big misunderstanding when it comes to astrology and the zodiac. And let me read to you some quotes by Carl Jung to give you an idea of what I'm talking about here. Because the whole idea is to have control over unconscious forces. And what I mean by that is you don't want unconscious forces to control you. So what astrology is an archetypal system about unconscious forces that exist within your own mind. Just like Lucifer doesn't represent an actual being named Lucifer who rebelled from God and was a snake and told Adam and Eve to eat from the apple. No, what Lucifer is an archetype that represents freedom and liberation. Okay, so likewise, the zodiac is a symbolic structure that doesn't actually represent the location of the stars and the planets or whatever. They represent the unconscious forces in your own mind. You don't want to be ruled by unconscious forces. You don't want to be ruled by the archons. Archons means rulers. You want to make the unconscious conscious so that you are aware of the unconscious forces and that you are in control of them. So the whole point is to not be controlled by the planets or the stars. The point is to be in control of yourself. And this is the dangerous aspect when it comes to zodiac in astrology. Now, there's so much to talk about here, so let me try and summarize this as much as possible and make this as concise as possible. There is nothing wrong with being interested in the zodiac in astrology, as long as you understand that it is a symbolic representation and not literal. Just like angels and demons are symbolic for archetypal structures in your mind and not literal. For example, in the LBRP, the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, when you're doing the LBRP, that ritual, and you're invoking all the different archangels like Gabriel and Uriel and Michael, when you're invoking these, and Raphael, when you're invoking these archangels, you're not literally calling down angels that actually exist. You're invoking those aspects of your mind to activate in your consciousness. So there's nothing wrong with astrology and zodiac if you understand it to be what it is as archetypal structures in the mind, and you're not letting it dictate your life. That's the whole point, is you're not supposed to let it dictate your life. You're supposed to be the master of your own life. You're not supposed to let something external dictate to you who you are, what you are, and how to live your life. You are in charge of your life. You dictate how to live your life if you make the unconscious conscious. And this whole point here is about how the archons or the rulers are going to rule over humanity. Now, I want to point something out here, is that a couple things. First of all, not all of the archons are necessarily all bad. They just represent unconscious forces. So there could be some that are bad, like wrath and anger and jealousy. These could be unconscious forces. But if we look at the secret book of John, we can see that they also represent goodness, providence, divinity, lordship, understanding, zeal. These are all paired with the different archons. If I'm looking right now at the secret book of John, it says goodness is paired with Athoth, providence with Eloius, divinity with Astaphios, understanding with Sabbatios. So they're not all necessarily negative, but what they are unconscious, which means you aren't consciously in control of them. And it says that the Creator created these archons, and it says each has its own realm modeled on one of the higher realms. Each name refers to a glory in the heavens. But the rulers' names reflect the glory above. So what this essentially means is that they're modeled or patterned on forces of the mind, but they're not perfect. They have become corrupt because they're unconscious. You aren't consciously in control of them. The whole point is to become conscious of the unconscious. Now, let me read to you some of these quotes by Carl Jung, and I think this will make a lot more sense, okay? So, okay, let me actually, before we do that, because I really want to read, let me give you one more example as to sort of understand this. So if we look at another banned text, which is also part of Gnosticism, called the Hypostasis of the Archons, or the Reality of the Rulers, are all about the archons and the rulers. You have an individual named Norea. Norea is the secret daughter of Eve, and she's super cool. I did a whole video on that. Check out my video called The Secret Daughter of Eve. I think you'll really enjoy it. But anyway, Norea is about to get, I can't say it because I'm on a platform that doesn't like me saying certain words. Norea is about to get essayed, or taken advantage of forcefully, by the ruler and the archons. Now, what does this mean? Well, for someone to get taken advantage of forcefully, this is the idea of the unconscious taking control of your life without you consenting to it. That's the whole point. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Meaning, like, until you become aware of the own unconscious forces in your mind and make them conscious and become masters of it, before you do that, it's going to control your life and you're not even going to know it. So that is why you have this representation of Norea about to be forcefully assaulted by the archons, by the rulers. But what does Norea do? Norea calls upon Alalith. And Alalith is representative of wisdom, but particularly in the hypostasis of the archons, Alalith is representative of understanding, who defeats the archons, and the archons flee, the rulers flee. So Norea uses the faculties of mind, of understanding and wisdom, to make those who are going to control her forcefully flee. So do you see the symbolic understanding of tapping into higher modes of conscious thought to integrate or overcome unconscious forces that are trying to screw over your life by controlling you. So now I'm going to read some of the aspects that Carl Jung talks about with regarding the zodiac and astrology. So, Carl Jung says, this is a quote by Carl Jung, Gnosticism, and remember what we're reading about in the banned book of the Egyptians and everything I've been talking about is Gnosticism. So Gnosticism, like astrology, is a symbolic representation of the workings of the unconscious. It provides a language for describing the archetypal patterns and forces that are present in the psyche, and it reveals the influences that shape human life and behavior. By exploring Gnostic symbolism, we can gain insight into the depths of the unconscious and into the nature of the self. So what Carl Jung is saying, Gnosticism, like astrology, is not literally true. It's symbolic for representing how the unconscious mind works, and it's a language for describing archetypal patterns. Each one of the signs of the zodiac is a certain archetypal pattern. Tauruses behave a certain way and have a certain way of being, and Sagittarius has a certain way of being, and Scorpio has a certain way of being. Each one of these are archetypes, just like you have different archetypes in so many different aspects of life, or how different angels represent different archetypes, or different demons represent different archetypes. Well, the zodiac represents different archetypes. These are not meant to be taken literally true. Now, again, if you enjoy zodiac and astrology, that's fine. It's okay. Just like if you enjoy mythos about angels and demons, and you think, I talk about Lucifer a lot because I think Lucifer is a fantastic archetype and symbol. Do I believe that Lucifer actually exists? No. But if you are interested in talking about certain signs and astrological imagery and stuff, that's fine, as long as you don't let it direct and control your life. As long as you don't let it be like, oh, I can't do this and this. My horoscope said, I shouldn't, I shouldn't make any business decisions this week. That's what my horoscope said, so I can't do that. Sorry. Or, oh, I don't date Leos because Leos are this way. Now it's become a negative aspect in your life. That would be kind of like worshiping Lucifer as if he actually existed and being like, oh, well, Lucifer doesn't want me to, do whatever. You see, it has become now a negative controlling aspect if you take it as being literally true. It's fine if you take it as being symbolically true. It can be interesting. It can be fun. It can be expressive. So here's another quote by Carl Jung. The planets are not ruling powers, but merely symbolic expressions of the workings of the unconscious. The unconscious influences human life and behavior, but it does so through the use of archetypal patterns and symbols, such as those represented by the celestial bodies in astrology. So once again, this is saying that astrology serves as a symbol for the unconscious, and that these celestial bodies are not actual forces controlling human life, but that they're symbols for the archetypal patterns in the unconscious that shape your behavior. And the whole point, remember, is to not be ruled by unconscious contents. So the whole point is not to be ruled by the planets, but to be so forceful and powerful that you overcome them. You see, you want to overcome the fuck Mercury in retrograde. Well, fuck it. Like, you are more powerful than the influence of the planets. Meaning, you are more powerful than an unconscious force that is trying to control your life. If you become aware of it, integrate it, and use that force and use it to your advantage. So it's about becoming aware, becoming more powerful then, overcoming. Humans love to give their power away. If they're not giving it away to gods and angels, they're giving it away to stars and planets. Don't give your power away. Don't give it away to God. Don't give it away to angels. Don't give it away to stars. Don't give it away to planets. Don't give it away to the universe. We are all reality. We are all things. We are all there is. And fate is in our hands. We are the directors and controllers of our fate, not stars in the sky, which are representative of unconscious forces. So like you don't want to be directed by stars in the sky, you don't want to be directed by unconscious forces either. You want to become aware of them and integrate them and make the unconscious conscious. Make the stars and the planets bow to your will. So it says many people assume, for instance, that astrology is all nonsense. It is true that astrology has nothing to do with the stars. The horoscope may say you were born in Taurus, but the constellations today have moved, and horoscopes no longer correspond to the actual positions of the stars. But people criticize astrology as though it had something to do with the stars. So what Carl Jung is basically saying is astrology isn't nonsense. It just doesn't have to do with the stars. Astrology is or are archetypal symbols for the unconscious. So this is what Jung is saying. Jung is saying astrology isn't total bullshit. It just doesn't have anything to do with the stars. Astrology has to do with the symbolic unconscious forces in your mind, which the stars and celestial bodies represent metaphorically. Another quote by Jung: "The important point is the horoscope is true only in the time sense, not astronomically. It is independent of the stars. We see that menstruation has a moon period, yet it does not coincide with the phase of the moon. Otherwise, all women would menstruate at the same time, and they don't. It simply means that there is a moon law in every woman, and likewise the laws of the stars in every human being, but not in the relation of cause and effect." So symbolically speaking, and that's an important part, is that there is a moon period with relating to menstruating, but obviously not all women menstruate at the same time. So you can see how there is a truth in a certain sense, but it's not to be taken literally true. It's symbolically true. And you know, I feel like a lot of people there's probably quite a few people on my channel who enjoy astrology and will perhaps be offended by this. But the thing is that I'm here to put out truth. And at the very least, what my perspective on truth is after years of study and looking into all this, it's not to say that it can't be fun and interesting to explore astrology, but don't take it literally and let it control your life. Just like it's fun to explore the different angels and demons and grimoires or whatever as archetypal symbols, and maybe you have different pictures of angels and symbols of different angels, or maybe even demons that you like that represent different aspects of you, but you're not taking it literally. You're not literally worshiping Lucifer or literally calling down the angel Michael or Gabriel. These are all different aspects of you that you are in control of. That's the whole point, like in the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, by calling forth Gabriel, Uriel, Michael, Raphael. You're saying, hey, these unconscious forces, come into my consciousness so I can consciously direct you. Those aspects of me, I will now consciously direct you. So I'm definitely not saying astrology is bullshit. Neither is Carl Jung. Carl Jung is saying that it's not. It just doesn't have anything to do with the stars. That it's a symbolic map of the unconscious mind. Important to understand with all of this is that all these things are archetypal symbols, and what we want to do to reach a higher consciousness is make the unconscious conscious and be control of ourselves and in our own life. We don't want to just start believing in more religion. And it doesn't matter if you call it God and angels or the universe and the signs of the Zodiac. If it's limiting your life, it's limiting your life. If you are having faith in God, that's just as bad as having positive vibes that the universe will provide, or believing in the universe, that the universe is going to, provide for your life. That's the same thing as saying that God, having faith in God and prayer and, believing in the astrology directing your life and things like that. So once again, if you believe in astrology, I'm not here to tell you not to, but I'm giving forth this information that I think is very, very important, because humanity needs to start being in control of their own life and their own power, not give it away to the God in the sky, not give it away to angels and demons, not give it away to the universe, and not give it away to planets and stars. We are the universe, and the planets and stars move according to our will, not the other way around. Now, there's a lot more that we need to talk about. Specifically, I still haven't mentioned how reality has the self-grounding aspect within itself, which I said I would talk about this in this video, but we didn't have enough time. So we will talk about that in the next video as we continue to read the banned Gospel of the Egyptians. Check out my videos on this book and a lot of the other books that I've mentioned. I have playlists on all of them. Like and subscribe. And if you enjoy my work, consider supporting on Patreon. It's the best way to support my work, and you will get access to secret videos and secret live streams and our Discord community. So I want to give a big shout out to everyone who does support on Patreon. The link will pop up right over here. You can also support by hitting join right below the video on this YouTube, on the YouTube video. Thank you to philanthropists Zach, Renaissance Fairy, Cassidy, Michael, Angela, Maria, Top of the World, Ethan, Joel, and It's Vashida, and everyone else. Thank you very much.